be necessarily with a knife. The nature of a human being is such that if I ask you, do you want your intellect to be sharp or blunt? Sharp or blunt? Please choose, I'm going to bless you right now. You want it sharp. So it is a cutting instrument. If you have a sharp instrument in your hands, you must know how to hold it. Otherwise you'll hurt yourself every day. That is all violence is about. If we remove half your brain, you will be quite peaceful. Yes or no? Hello? Because if you remove the possibilities, problems also will go away. To keep all the possibilities and to be not a problem, that is the important thing. If you take away all the possibilities, problems are also gone. If we take away half your brain, you are very peaceful, no trouble to anybody. So, what is the greatest gift that we have? These millions of years of evolution rendered yourself to this place where you are capable of this level of cerebral activity. This has become the problem. When you say, I am stressed, when you say I am angry, when you say I am irritated, what you're complaining is, I want to be an earthworm, why did I become a human being? You're complaining about the size of your brain and the activity possible. Yes, that's all you're complaining about. So when you complain about this, slowly, when you aspire for something, it may come true. We have studies with the universities in America where they're showing generally for most human beings, after they're 35 years of age, their brain is depleting. But we have recorded now with sizable samples that those who are doing a simple practice in their life, just a simple practice in their life, their brain, the neuronal regeneration is multiplying about 240 times higher than normal. So instead of brain depleting, brain is getting better as you age. That's what should happen, isn't it? Hello? Smart young people and old fools is not a good world. Yes, because by the time you grasp what is what, by the time you figure out a few things just to rise about your childishness, your hormonal issues and a little bit of whatever financial stuff, by the time you're maybe 45, 50. Hello? So, when your wisdom begins to blossom, your brain begins to diminish, not a good way to live. Not at all a good way to live, isn't it? But that is happening to the entire world unless we bring some dimension of life for which this culture and its roots are very, very invested in that. In many ways, Mahatma's whole movement had foundations in the spiritual principles of this nation and this culture. Otherwise, if it is not India, such an idea of non-violent movement to get freedom for a nation would not have happened. This is very clear. Without being born in India, that wouldn't have happened. Because this is everywhere in so many different ways. He picked it up and made it into a national movement, which is one and only movement till then. But since then, many other people have imitated similar things and they've managed to do it. In countries where gun is the law, even in those places they managed to do it, which is fantastic. So, this 150th year, a good way to remind ourselves because 150 years have gone by. Not talking about Gandhi alone, but are you on the way in some way to become a Mahatma? Atma you have. Are you somewhere moving towards becoming a Mahatma? At least a few steps? This is the question that all of us should answer within ourselves. So being just another being and being a Mahatma, what it means is, are you inclusive or exclusive? Inclusiveness, exclusiveness does not mean I have lots of friends and no friends. That's not what it means. If you sit here, you have no reaction towards anything. You're here, you're willing to respond to everything in the universe, but you have no reaction to anything. This means you're naturally inclusive. Otherwise, you're reacting to everything. It is not just about human beings. As I said, there are creatures in this world who are much smarter than you. They figure you out before you know what they are. Still, human beings are busy asking, who am I? But a cobra, a bee figures you out in no time who you are. Even trees, they're saying now there's a whole chemistry of the trees being studied. Trees figure you out before you know who you are. You go sit under a tree and ask, who am I, who am I? They know who you are. How's this? This is the intelligence of creation. To be a part of it is peace. To not be a part of it, thinking I am a creation by myself, is a huge, violent problem. Thank you very much. You want to… If there is just one question, we promise that we'll take a question. So if there's just one question, somebody, if you want to ask. I like people without questions. You have? Please.
Sadhguruji, we have been using art to calm down ourselves. We have been using art as a tool to refresh ourselves. Can art be also used to bring peace to ourselves so that violence could be reduced in the society?
It may sound odd to you that I am also a little bit of an art buff, it's just that I have not had much time. So wherever I am traveling in the world, if there's a little bit of time, that's where I end up, either a theatre or a art gallery. So, so this is one way of approaching it. I think because I've particularly seen a lot of European art, you can see that at least I can very clearly feel when I look at something, this artist is a bundle of struggle, trying to sort himself out with his paintings or with his work. Well, this is one way of doing it, because we believe we are a mess and we need to fix ourselves. If you believe you are a mess and you have to fix or somebody else has to fix you, this means you believe creation has made a mistake with you, or the source of creation has made a mistake with you. It could be true but that's not the way creation is. Creation is an artwork by itself. Hello? It is. So it is not really a mistake, it is a certain artistry that if I see… because this modern art, this is a modern art institution, right? So if I see something abstract and I go and correct it, this is what you're trying to do with human beings. They made differently, you're trying to fix them. To what? To fit into one slot somewhere? So, this is one way of doing art. People who are frustrated, people who are angry, people who are violent, work themselves and try to settle themselves. This is one way. Unfortunately, that has picked up momentum in the world. I may be wrong, you are all more informed about this, but having seen American art, European art, African and Indian and Asian arts, I feel this has mainly come from Europe, that naturally there is a violence in the human being and they're trying to settle it with art to come to some kind of terms with it, largely an expression of this violence. But if you look at ancient Indian art, this is not like that. People who did this are very peaceful and wonderful people. They're trying to portray something else. But today it has become like this in the world. I went into some very celebrated house, okay, I don't want to name people. a very famous, celebrated person, and the artwork was huge, this big nails, about 8-inch nails. A few hundred nails have been put on the board and some multicolored threads have been tied in very violent ways, all nails sticking out like this. So I just looked at this and this is a very expensive art that they've bought and put it up on their wall as they were going through some big family issues, psychological problems and stuff. I said, first thing is as you enter the house, if you have such stuff, you having psychological problems is normal. This could be done by someone, let us say in a mental asylum, somebody who is going through extreme struggle within themselves, a very conflicting mind, only they can do this. But look at the Asian art, ancient art, how it is, it's not always realistic. People think Asian art is always trying to be realistic, not necessarily. They have their own idea of abstract, but there is a certain piece to the whole thing. I feel there are two ways to do everything in the world, not just art. Every word that you utter, every step that you take, every breath that you take actually, either you can do it as an expression of your struggles and violence within you, or you can do it as an expression of your blissfulness. Everything that you do, not just art. Art is just one piece of life. Isn't it so? Every word, every movement, the very way you walk and look at things, you can either look at it peacefully, joyfully, or you can look at it violently. Shall I look at you violently right now? You know, you can look at something violently or you can look at it very joyfully. So, it depends how you have seen the world, because your mirror is all distorted. The mind is just reflecting what's around you. If you had worked to make your mirror into a plain, clean mirror, it would show you life just the way it is. But if you have a distorted mirror, everything gets distorted and exaggerated in ways that you cannot imagine. So because of that, you think the entire world is all wrong. Right now, there is a narrative in the country where all the time a few people are painting everything in black. Everything is wrong in this country, nothing right is happening, always. They're not saying this only today, this is not a political statement. They've been saying this all the time. No, they have not met the people. They've only met themselves. They've not met the people. They've not looked at people of this country, how they are. Here and there, of course, there are problems. But for 1.3 billion people, we are an extremely peaceful nation. Hello? Yes or no? And we are not policed. We are not policed. Even if you see, even in Mumbai city, if you call the police and say there is a murder, they will come after 3 hours. If it's in rural India, they come after 3 days or 3 weeks. Yes. In New York City or in United States, they're saying the average police response time is 3 minutes and 20 seconds in any part of the country. Armed police will arrive within 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Did you ever get police in 3 minutes and 20 seconds? So we are not really policed. It is like our movies are made, everything. These days maybe they're different, I've not seen. These earlier movies, everything happened. When everything ended, after everything has been handled, Juhi is here only then the police came. It was very symbolic. It was correct. I'm saying have you seen those scenes? After everything is over, after a hero or heroine or somebody has handled everything, when everything is done, then the police arrive. This is not just in the movies, this is true in the country. But without being policed, 1.3 billion people who packed so close. When human beings are packed that close, there is room for irritation and agitation. Hello? In spite of that, extremely peaceful, isn't it? Yes or no? So artists must paint a fantastic picture. When people see, they must feel blissed out, not troubled. We can create trouble in so many different ways. Art is also one of them. Please don't create trouble. We have enough. Thank you.